I grew up in a household where my dad raised my brother and I. We didn't have a lot. Things were very tough. I felt hopeless a lot of times, and I think that would be the word that would define my childhood, was hopelessness. And something held me fast, and I knew something was there when I wanted to give up, but I didn't understand it until I became saved. I prayed with somebody to accept Christ into my life. It was almost like God tapped me on the shoulder saying, this is it. As soon as this happens, you're going to understand what was around you. This is it. And once you do this, there's just no turning back. And I realized that my entire life, the things that I went through, not having a mom and having a dad who had his own issues and not having the availability of vulnerability and love in my life, that God was there. Here I am, and this is what it's about. I've been sustaining you my whole life. So after that, it just switched gears to something else where, okay, it's on. One of the hardest things I've had to go through in life is my son was very sick from an early age. Nobody knew what to do. He wouldn't eat. He was losing weight right off the bat. That first almost 2 years was just brutal. Sleeping 3 hours at the most. We weren't sleeping. We were stressed, sitting in doctor's offices, and he was so ill and so sick, we didn't know what to do. That went on for probably 4 years. He was bottle fed 4 years, and I was at home with him every day. We had a chart. I weighed him every day. We had medications. My entire day was about keeping him alive. But how God kind of broke me and how he used that was that he made me realize that you could be rough and tumble, and I was being that. I'm tough, and I'm angry, and I'm gonna get through this, but it's not gonna help you in the end. You need that vulnerability, that crying, that love, that part where you're just broken, and it's okay to be broken. And I feel like that teeter-tottered me over the edge, things being so bad with my son. I didn't like who I was. I was very angry, and I was dealing with it in an inappropriate way at home, inside of myself, out in public. And we went through such a terrible time. It brought me to this church, essentially. We had my son in a preschool somewhere, and it just wasn't working out. There was a lot of bullying going on and stuff, and we just weren't happy with it. So we ended up enrolling Blade here, and the teachers were awesome. And little by little, I made friends, and Blade was happy here. And I said, I need to give church another try. So what ended up happening, I came to the service and then liked it, and then came to another service, and then put Blade in VBS. We put Blade in, and that was unbelievable. Every day I'd come here and be like, I don't want to leave. But it was so much excitement and happiness. In this church, you learn how to appreciate different functioning pieces that mean a lot to you. And for me, the youth that sit in front are a very substantial piece of that, because I sit next to my son and I think to myself, I want him sitting down front one day like that, worshiping Christ. That inspires me and inspires hope in me that my son, who's 8 now, can go up through the range and hopefully one day end up at that place where he has given his life to Christ and does what those kids are doing, because that's what it's about.